All right. Welcome.
I think we're live.
I think we're live too. Welcome to us. My name is Eric. This is Joachim. You are here with us at Drivhuset this beautiful day. Joachim, he will be your voice during this broadcast. So he will be my only audience, so I don't feel alone. And he will be picking up questions or thoughts that you have during the broadcast, and we will pick them up at the end and answer as good as we can.
Yeah, I will try to moderate as good as possible, but write your questions as soon as they pop up in your head during Eric's lecture. If it's very important, I'll interrupt and ask the question, but if I can, I'll save your questions for later. But don't wait with the questions to the Q&A. Write them whenever they pop up, and I'll save them in a document and ask you all the questions in the end.
Perfect.
Great. Good luck.
All right. Thank you. All right, everyone. So we're here, and today we're going to talk about how to start a business in Sweden. And we will start off by talking a little bit about us and what we can do for you, how we can help you in your journey. And then we will go from the time or the space where you have an idea or you want to create an idea maybe, and how you go from that all the way to actually launching an organization or a business that's ready for action. Here we go. So to start off this beautiful morning with something to think about and to take with you. So many of us, we talk about entrepreneurship in this world of ideas and starting things up. But what does it actually mean? What does it mean to you? Because it can be maybe not just one thing. Many people think that maybe you're born as an entrepreneur, or that maybe if you're an economist or engineer, that's where entrepreneurship is. But to us here in Drivhuset, we believe that entrepreneurship can be many things. We believe, I'll show you right here. We believe that entrepreneurship, that it's about a mindset. It's about an attitude, and it's about skills. And all of this are things that you can learn. It's not something you're born with or not born with. It's not something you get in a certain kind of education or with a certain kind of background. It's actually something that you and I and anyone else, no matter what they're working with or what they're doing or what they like, can be. And at Drivhuset, I will back a little bit, and I will tell you a little bit about us at Drivhuset. So this is our team in Uppsala, but we're not alone. There's about 14 different Drivhuset in Sweden. There's one in Finland and one in Norway. And right here in our beautiful town of Uppsala, these are the ones that will help you out if you reach out to us. We have Nils here. He's a business developer. And then we have Philip, who is our CEO. And then we have Joachim, which you just saw, and myself, Eric, who are business developers as well. And then we have Fanny, who is our market coordinator. And lastly, we have Linnea, who is our student ambassador. You might have seen her around the campuses and educations in Uppsala. And Drivhuset, we're actually the largest actor in Scandinavia who specializes in student entrepreneurship, because we actually started off by two students who wanted a place, a haven of knowledge and development for students who have ideas and who want to maybe make something out of that, or who are curious about what could it be like to start our own thing and not just take a job somewhere else. And each year, this little team that we actually perform about 400 coaching sessions together with you and other people who come here and meet us one-on-one or in small groups and talk about where you are and what you want, and then we help you out from that. And each year it's about 200 different business ideas that go through Drivhuset and that we help develop. And this leads to every year to about 100 new companies that actually start off with the support of Drivhuset. But of course, this is not just us who can take the credit for that. We're part of a big network here in Uppsala that supports anyone who is willing to try out their idea. But the most awesome one in all of this is, of course, you, the people who have the courage to think maybe a little differently. You, the ones who maybe thought that things could be different or this could be different, and who actually come here and take the chance in talking a little bit with us. You are the ones starting 100 new companies each year. You are the ones developing ideas and coming over here and talking to us. And at Drivhuset, we never judge an idea. You might want to come here and tell us about your idea and hope for us to say this will fly or this won't fly, but that's not the way it's supposed to be. We don't judge and say what will work or not. What we do is that we support you, we support the person, and we support the ideas that you have and the thoughts that you have. But the ones that will be able to tell you if your idea is going to work or how it could work, how it could be adjusted, it's not us, it's the people who will benefit from your idea, the people who will use it. But more about that a little later. So this is what we do, and this is how we support you. We do our coaching sessions, we provide education, and we are part of a big network that we use to help you. And so the coaching, this is the most important part, I believe, because this is where we start off where you're at. You don't have to have an idea. If you're just curious about this whole world of making things or starting things of your own, then you're so very welcome to come and meet Joachim, meet me, Philip, or any of the others working here. And all of our coaching sessions, they are completely confidential. So we won't steal your billion-dollar idea. It will stay within us and within the room so that you can feel free to talk about whatever you need. And all of our coaching sessions are completely free, all the time, every time. And you're welcome to come back as many times as you like. Some people come to us from the point where they are just a little bit curious about what this could be until they maybe have an idea, and then they try that out and they adjust it, and then maybe they launch something with it. And some people, they come back to us years after they actually started a business to get help, to have someone to talk to about where to go next, and so on. We're here for you. And we welcome everyone. And we really mean everyone. It doesn't matter if you're working, if you want to start an organization within performing arts, or if you have a commercial idea about a product that you want to launch, or if you're working on an innovation within a certain industry, we welcome everyone, not just students, but everyone. But students, of course, is what we work mostly with. And it's very easy to book a coaching with us. You just do it through our website, or you can email us. And right now, in these times of virus, we just like we're doing right now, we're working remotely and digitally. So if you book a coaching session with us right now, we will meet you through probably Google Meets and video chat, just like this, or we can talk on the phone, whichever way works best for you. And then we provide education, and that's lectures and workshops that we do, and this is for free as well. It can be about basic business economics, can be about marketing, business development, how to design and brand yourself or your idea. The basics of entrepreneurship is, of course, creativeness and idea generation, how you come up with new things. We have workshops on that as well. And then this is very popular. We have cases based on reality. So, when you're studying and you're reading your books and, that's all good and based on reality, a lot of the theories that you read maybe. But we actually work with cases where you can try that out for real in a room with your mind and together with other people to try reality out, considering a certain problem or challenge or need. And then we have our network that makes us really strong, because Drivhuset, we're here to help you, and usually we're the starting point of people who want to develop their idea. But we're part of a big innovation system. So Uppsala Innovation Center and Green Innovation Park at SLU, or Almi, Nyföretagarcentrum. We're part of a big community. So whatever we can't be the best to help you with, we will direct you to the next, or maybe talk to them and make sure that you get all the support you need and the best support you can get. And of course, we work with the universities, with entrepreneurs and startups around Uppsala and beyond. We have business relations in the public sector, in the culture sector. And then right here, right now, actually, where we're at today, it's one of many co-working spaces that we're connected to, but it's the one that we're based on. It's called Base 10, and this is where we're at. This is just by the central station in Uppsala. This is called Juvelen, and Base 10 is a startup community here in Uppsala. And it has 3 levels in this building, and an event room with ping pong and such, a space, co-working space with tables and coffee and kitchen and tea, meeting rooms, office spaces higher up. And you can actually become a free member already today. If you just go up on base10.com, written like this, base and then the number 10, then you can see that there's a free membership pillar. And then you see what you get. You get to be in this area with tables to work on. You can grab a coffee or tea as much as you like. You have access to the kitchen. And then if you use the paid memberships, then you can also use the meeting rooms and the hot desks behind here and so on. So check that out. And the reason why we can do all that we do for free to support you is that we have these partners. We have our financial sponsors up here. It's Uppsala University. It's the region of Uppsala. It's the municipality of Uppsala. It's the Swedish Agency for Economic and Regional Growth, Tillväxtverket, and SLU Holding. They're the ones supporting us in the back and really making sure that we can do all this together with you and for you. And then we have partners around here in Uppsala that we use to help you as well. And so during the rest of this broadcast, this live broadcast, this is the agenda. We will start by talking about the idea, how you start off from here, and you look at the user or the customer of your idea or your organization. We look at the team, if you can be yourself working with this or if you need others. We will look a bit at the business model, and then product service that you create, and then execution. How do you actually start a business? How do you actually register and get that going? And what kind of business form or organizational form should you use? So, the idea. Where does it start? And how does it start? It's a good question. And many times an idea looks to solve a problem or to meet a need. And maybe you have thought of ideas already since before. You have some kind of customer or user, someone who will benefit from your idea, because it's quite easy to say, well, anyone who wants my idea will be my customer. But this is not usually the best way to go. You really need to think about who will actually get value from this, and how, and why. Why would they want this value, and in what way? And that will result, in the product or service that you provide. It could be that you're a photographer and that's your service, or that you're working with human rights and that's your service, or that you're making 3D products or IT software, And then innovation, which sometimes can be a quite complex word, and it's used in many different ways. But you could say that an innovation, it's something that's new, something that creates value, and something that's scalable, that can grow in scale. Your idea doesn't have to be an innovation, but it's just that some are, and it can be a good variable to think about. And all this creates value. But don't think that you're too late, or that it has to be completely unique. Richard Branson, an adventurer and an entrepreneur, he said, which is very true, that business opportunities, they are like buses. There's always another one coming. And, and if you think for a second about problems or needs, we still have problems today, right? You have problems, I have problems, Joachim has problems, other people have problems. And as long as we have problems, we're going to need things to solve them. We're going to need ideas to solve them. And we all have needs, right? Maybe the ideas that have been created for the last, century, there are millions, but there's always going to be needed more. And does it have to be new? Like new, completely new, unique, never seen before? That's something really hard, to get something that's never been seen before at all. And of course, some people can look for that and such, but most people and most ideas, they use something that's already out there. You cherry pick. You take what's best from what you see around you, or the problems that you see around you, and then you use that. Or maybe you look at an idea that is exactly what you want to do. I want to be able to rent out objects that people in Uppsala or Sweden should be able to rent things from each other. That maybe can be your idea. Oh, there is already 5 different companies doing that. Don't give up. Don't stop. Because what you have right there is a wanting, a longing maybe to create something. And that is the most valuable thing that you have, that energy, and that and that urge. So don't stop just because there already is companies doing that thing. What you should do then is simply that you do it your way. You do it differently. You do it better. As we said, there's always going to be needed new ideas, and that ideas that are become something better or other than they are. How do you find ideas? As we said, look for problems, opportunities. Look at the news and trends. I don't know, there must be 1,000 different ideas coming up just now because of the coronavirus, different masks, different equipment or things that we can use to either survive or to actually maybe be alive, feel alive during these times that are and that will come. So look at what's happening around you and around the world. And start with your own problems. That's usually a very good place to start, because you have them, we all have them, and they can be solved. But your job is to answer how. Paul Graham, he has this Y Combinator. It's a big yearly funding organization that funds startups. And he said that live in the future and build what seems interesting. And this is also a very good thing for creativeness, to be creative. Live in half a year from now, or 1 year from now, or 5, or 10, or 20, or 100. Think from that perspective. Just try it out, the thing that you like to do now, but just see it in the future. That can also be an interesting way to go about creating an idea. And so, this is interesting because there are two completely opposite ways to think about how to create something. Many of us, we think like this up here, causation versus effectuation. So causation, that's when you know exactly what you want. And it's the only thing that you want. You want a chocolate cream cake. That's what you want, nothing else. All right. And so what you do is that you look at the recipe, you look what you need to buy, you go out and buy exactly those things, you go out and get those things that are needed for a chocolate cream cake. You could do this with ideas or problems or needs or what kind of business organization you'd like to create. But this would mean that you would have to go out and get things that you don't already have. And then the other way is that you use what you have, and that's what's called effectuation. So look at what you have right now. What are your skills, your contacts, your resources? Who are you right now, today? And what can you make of that? And that could be a beautiful princess cake, a carrot cake, a muffin, a pretzel, and that would fulfill the same need that the chocolate cream cake would, It could be even better. I know that chocolate cream cake sounds good, but, many other things are good too. And this is the most important part of the journey, except for yourself and your energy and motivation, of course. This is the user, the people who will benefit from your knowledge or your skills or whatever you create or whatever you create together with others. The one who will benefit, the customer or the user. And who are they? It should be scary. It should be scary how much you know about them. You will have hypotheses. This could be them or this could be them. And maybe you will have to adjust that along the way. But you should really get to know them when you find them or when you think you have found them. You should know what they do for a living, what they like to do on the weekends, what they like to do on the nights, what they like to if they like to use their phones or computer, Instagram, Snapchat, where are they, and a good way to go about getting to know them when you think that you know who they are is to try to find them, wherever you can, Facebook groups or, social groups or whatever, and do interviews, try to find a few different persons and say to them, hey, I'd like to ask you a few different things about an idea that I have. And many people are very willing to do so. And then you can sit down and have a chat about what you think that you can solve for them, what kind of value maybe you could create for them. And then the most important part then is to get that feedback, get that information, what they say. But not only what they say, because as you know, many times we say things just to say them. It can be to be polite or whatever. So you need to be able to read between the lines as well. Feel the energy. Are they saying it quite mellow? Are they really getting excited about what you're saying? Because if they're not, then maybe you have to adjust the value that you think you are creating for them. And we at Drivhuset, we can help you in this journey. So take support in that process. Observations is also a good way to go about it if you can see people do this thing that you think that you can help them with. That's why stores they don't really ask you anymore what did you think about this or that. Maybe they do, but most of the time they follow people in their stores to see what they look at, how they walk around the store, what they touch, what they take, what they don't take. And this is, because that's when we're most honest, when we don't think that anyone's watching. But don't be creepy, all right? Don't be creepy, because following people around, it can be a bit creepy. So try to do it in a good way. But we can talk about that as well. So your customer has the answer. As we said, we don't judge your idea. The customer or the user or the benefitor of your idea, that's the ones who have the answer. Lean canvas. So, when you have an idea or an idea of a business or an organization, there are very good tools to get it all down on one sheet of paper, to have a good overview and see how the parts connect. And one of the tools that we use is the lean canvas. And this is simply a way to get your whole business model or organizational structure down on one sheet of paper. And right here in the middle is the most important part, which is the unique value proposition. So what value you are creating, if you're working with law and you're providing services within that, and what's the value you're creating? Or if you're a wedding photographer, or if you're a performance artist, or if you are creating a certain product, what value are you creating? And then who is your customers, your user? What channels will you use to reach them? What's the solution for the problem that they have? What existing solutions are there? What are your costs, your revenue, and so on? And we can help you structuring this up as well. And then there are other canvases like that I will mention in the end. The team. So how about the team? Maybe you're alone, and maybe that's the way it should be. Maybe you're a consultant or want to be a consultant, and you will maybe you can for example, maybe you don't want to do your bookkeeping yourself, then you can hire that out or buy that service from someone else. You could be yourself in your business, and that could be completely fine. And then now we actually have a question or a
it's
comment.
Not a question, I just wanted to fill in. It's funny when you're talking about team, that actually right now in the commentaries, people are like teaming up, or potentially teaming up, which is great.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
it's
that's
good
awesome.
timing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's why we're here as well. The whole community, it's to help people connect and matchmake. So that's why it's a good place to be as well. And yeah, so if the question is, do you need one? And if so, why? Be sure to answer why always, whatever you do. And if so, map out your competences, or you can do this from the start. What are you good at? What are you not good at? What do you need? The people that you work with, what should they be good at? And maybe you want to start something with friends, and this could be a good idea, or maybe not such a good idea, but just make sure that if you do want to create something with your friends, make sure to see that you're not exactly the same. And if you are, make sure to find these other competences and the knowledge that you need. Because many times we are friends with people who are just like us, and that could be great. But just make sure to have a think about how you do it and why. And external help. There's always external, like us, you should see us as your partner, as your colleague, Drivhuset. We can help you out. There's, as I said, you can hire out your bookkeeping or your banking or there's law agencies that we are partnered with as well that can help you out with those parts. So there's a lot of help to get. And then, so what are you offering? What is your product? What is your service? What are you creating? And the rule number one is to build something people love. The users that you have, that they love. Whether it is a service or if it's a product, doesn't matter. It has to be something people love, because that's when it will be a success. And make sure that it's easy to use and easy to understand. Because when you sit, with yourself and think and work, and maybe you do this for years before you launch something, then it can all get very, complicated. But this is not how you should communicate your idea. It should not be too technical or too complicated. When you're offering your value to someone, it has to be easy to understand. Because if it's not easy to understand, then probably people won't have the energy to take it in. It has to be easy to use and to access and to understand, even if it's a very, very complicated technical product. And make sure to involve your users in the process, and not just when you're launching, when it's done. Make sure to involve them from the start, from the point where you're having this idea. Start talking to the ones that you think will use it, and build something small in the beginning. Don't think that, okay, I will only be able to test this when I have the patent and I have the product and I have the company and I have investments. That's starting up from here, and then you can fall down there. But if you're growing organically, if you're talking from the start, seeing that there are actually people who want this kind of thing, and you create a small product with the least amount of resources and time from yourself as possible, and you just try that, then you can grow organically. And that's we think that's one of the best ways to grow. And Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, he said, if you are not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. Okay, so what that means is that if you're not embarrassed by the first product or version of your service that you get out there, yeah, you've launched too late. You have been polishing it and making it and working on it too long already. All right, it needs to get out early on, and it's okay to be embarrassed. It's no problem. What does that matter in 100 years? Okay, and this is one of our most important methods that we work with at Drivhuset. It was developed with the Chalmers Technical School of Entrepreneurship down in Gothenburg, and together with Drivhuset, and they use lots of different science and experience from entrepreneurs all over the world. And it's called Lupa or looping, and that's it's the concept. It's easy. It's that you have your idea, you test it with your users, you get feedback from them, and you adjust your idea. Maybe it will be something completely different than you think from the start, and then you decide something about that adjustment, and then you test it again and get feedback again, and make an adjustment, test it again, and so on. And this loop, it has to get going as early as possible, because that's how you will actually make sure that your idea is based on reality. And the value. So maybe this is your service, you know, the flower that you're offering. That's the product, that's the service, but this is not the value. It's not what sells. It's so when you have your customer here, you have Mario, okay, and you give him the elderflower. That's not what he's attracted to. What he's attracted to is this awesome person that he becomes, the Super Mario, when he has had your product or your service. That's the value. That's what sells. So remember that. That, you know, if you're for example, if you're selling omega-3 fish oil pills, it's not that you should be marketing or telling people about. It's about the amazing person they will become if they start eating it. And brand. Why is brand so important? Because we talked about the value, and okay, so the value can be the function of the thing or the service that you're offering, but just as important, or sometimes even more important, can be how you package that, or what variables are related to that. And I guess all of you know IKEA, and maybe many of you know about the furniture company Mio. And then maybe a few of you know about the furniture company Norgavel. They all work with furnitures and things for the home, but they're very different in product and price. So just as a little exercise for you guys, just a little mind doodle. These are 3 small sitting chairs from each of them. And try to guess which one belongs to which brand, because the prices here will be very different. We have this one in the end, 99 kroner. We have this one on the left, 3.
Is that Mio?
If this is Mio?
Yeah. Oh, you should.
It's a good question. It's a good question. This is Mio.
Sorry.
And then we have the 2000, and it's a good question. You know, which one is Mio? Where are Mio on this scale? Because as you see, they're quite different materials, and as you can guess, you know, the materials are very different. Probably this one will last your whole life, or maybe generations. Maybe this one your life, and maybe this one, yeah, for a good while as well. You know, the function is one thing, but then the brand is another. And yeah, Joachim, which one do you think is to Mio?
We have a guess here.
You have a guess?
Albert guessed that the left one is Mio.
This one is Mio?
And the right one is IKEA.
The right one is IKEA. Albert, that's very good. Albert, it's completely right. This is Mio, this is Norgavel, and this is IKEA. You know, so whatever your idea is or becomes in the future, remember that people pay and want also the feeling of something, or how long it lasts, you know, how sustainable it is. Because Norgavel, it has a lot to do with this Scandinavian minimalistic design, and also really good material that will last long. And then you also get that feeling, of course, that it's very exclusive. While as IKEA is to be for the people, for everyone. It has to be accessible. So that's why the price. And Mio is a little bit in between. You know, it's pricier than IKEA, and not as priced as Norrgavel, and probably will hold on for a long time as well. And so when you have worked with your idea, you have thought about the value, you've thought about yourself, what you have thought about what you need, and you've talked with people about your idea, and you got feedback, and you adjusted and did that thing, a couple times, a couple of loops. And then you want to actually start off your business. You want to register something. You got to get it going. And these are some examples of organizational forms that are quite common for businesses in Sweden. So you have, for example, the sole trader, which is enskild firma. And then you have trading partnership, handelsbolag, limited company, which is the aktiebolag. Whichever you choose, you will use Bolagsverket and or Verksam.se. Bolagsverket is a big institution here in Sweden that registers all the businesses here. And Verksam is actually the kind of the electronical version of them. So they are Verksam.se. At Verksam.se you have it's an amazing, it's a really good website. You should really check it out because it collects all the information from the major institutions in Sweden, which you will need to have to deal with in some way when you're starting or having a business. So Skatteverket, the tax office, Tullverket, for import and export, or all of this. There's a lot of information here, and it's quite pedagogical and easy to understand. So check that out. Now we'll talk a little bit about these three organizational forms. Sole trader is if you're alone. Trading partnership, you have to be 2 or more. Limited company, you can be alone or more. But sole trader, you're always you're just yourself. You can have employees, but you're just yourself. So sole trader, enskild firma. It's simple, it's common to start with. And one of the big reasons why it's common to start with is that because you don't need any start capital. You don't need to put any money into the business to be able to start it. But the maybe risk with enskild firma, but this depends, of course, on what you're going to do. But it's that you're personally liable for everything that you do within this company. When you register one, your own social security number will be the organizational number. It will simply be that this will be the business version of yourself. So whatever loans that you take, they are personal loans that you yourself as a person take, or that you are responsible for, at least. And if you want investments, usually the way investments work is that someone invests in you and they get part of your shares. And within enskild firma, you don't have shares or stocks like you have with limited company. But it's simple, and if you start off with this, you can actually make it into or change it into a limited company in the future when you have the capital required for that. But that's important to remember. And you can have employees, but you cannot be more than one person as owner. And then we have the limited company, which is maybe the second most common organizational form to start a business with. And so here you can be yourself or more owners or shareholders, and you have to put in, since January, before it was 50,000, and since January this year it's 25,000 that you put into the business. It's not a cost. It's not something that you lose. It's money that you put in to be able to get the business operational at all. So it's money that you can use in your business, but you need to invest this from the beginning. And you don't have any personal liability. So this is the good thing. This is that you're protected within the company. So if you take a loan, then it's the company that's taking a loan. You can see it as that you are an employee of your own company. So in the same way, you won't be personally responsible. Of course, you have to follow the law. Don't break any laws, because if you do that, then you can be personally liable. But as long as you stick to the rules, you are protected. Beyond that, so you can't be getting own debts that you have to pay lots of your own money if you follow the rules. And then you have to have a board which can be it could be you, but then you have to have a supplement, a person who backs that up in case you're sick or whatever. So it has to be at least 2 persons in the board, can be more. And the board are the ones who direct the company and decide where it should go and how it should work and for what. And it's very good for growth, because here you can take in investments, or you can scale up and still be protected within the company. Take loans, and it's a good way if you want your business to really become something bigger. And then you register at Bolagsverket. The enskild firma, you register at verksam.se. They're both, the same, but it's a different process of registration. And just to say something about trading partnership. This is quite a lot like enskild firma, only that you are 2 or more persons. You can never be one in a trading partnership. So this thing that is similar is that you are personally liable for what you do, and it can actually be even a bigger risk than an enskild firma, because if you are 2 persons in a trading partnership and the other person does something or takes a loan or whatever, then you are also responsible. So you're both responsible for what you do and what the other person does. And if the other person or the other persons want to quit, then you have to quit the whole company. You cannot only be one person. So if you are 2 or more who want to start something, 25,000 is definitely a lot of money, but it could be useful to try to get that from the start, and not maybe start off before you have that. But just think about these responsible to start it off in a responsible way.
Can we have a short question?
Yes, of course.
Is there any difference in this organization in terms of advantages or taxes?
Well, considering taxes, you have to pay the taxes actually more or less in the same way, because it's about all about these advantages of, for example, moms, or where the things that you buy, you pay a lesser price because the moms is always a part of the things you buy. For example, if you buy a laptop, then part of that price is the price of the product, and part of that price is this moms tax that is on everything. And when you sell a service, you also put moms on top of the price of your service, and then you can quit that out to each other. So in the end, it should be that that you save up on this moms, and it's the same whether it's enskild firma or a limited company. And so just to have it in your mind, when you get paid for a service or a product that you sell, it's usually about more or less 50% of the price that the end customer and user pays. About 50% of that goes to tax, and then 50% of that you get in your account. So, but it's quite alike.
Yeah, but and you should also remember that when pricing your own service or product, of course. But you have the same advantages in terms of taxes
Yeah,
as a sole trader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. That's it. And so there's financing. How about the money? If you don't have it yourself, or if you need it elsewise, it's always the best way to start with your own with your own money, your own savings, your own investments. Because, for example, if you want investments from others, this is something they will ask you. Well, if you haven't invested your own money, why should we invest ours? So this is the best way to start talking about growing organically. But then you can also take loans, of course. For example, there's Almi, who are partners to us as well, who are all around Sweden, that you can take loans from for your startup or your idea. For example, Filip Tusander, he was here at Drivhuset a couple of times with different ideas.
You should say that he's the founder of Daniel Wellington.
Exactly.
Nobody knows Philip Tusander.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's the founder of Daniel Wellington, the clock, the watch brand, and he took a loan from Almi. So he got help here from us at Drivhuset, and then he took a loan from Almi it was maybe his fourth idea or something, and that made it so that he kept being the only owner of all his shares. And today they have a revenue of about 2.3 billion Swedish krona, and that's all for him. So good for him. Because when you take investments, you usually sell part of your shares to the ones investing. So remember that. But there's also grants that you can take or get if your idea, for example, creates a certain value that are important to foundations around in Sweden or elsewise. And there's also verification money that you can get. For example, from Almi, you can get 50,000 krona for verification, and that is to test your idea. If because they actually judge your idea, then they judge if it's an idea that's innovative, that creates new value, that's scalable, and then you can get this verification money to test your idea to see if it works. There's competitions, there's pitch competitions, there's other competitions where you can get money or investments. There's incubators in Uppsala and beyond that can help you, hold you under their wings and help you out. And we can talk about that as well here if you come to Drivhuset. And pitch. So whatever service you have, no matter if you're working with human rights or culture or engineering or IT, your idea and your service, the value you're creating, it will not get itself out there by itself. It's not just about creating something that's good and yes, that's it. Now you have it. You have to get it out there. You're the one who have to get it out there. You have to communicate what your value is, what your idea is, for people to know, and for you to get help as well, because we all need help. We can't do everything ourselves, and for that we need to talk. And one great way is to be able to pitch. Because even if you're, standing in a line to get some food in a restaurant, and you suddenly end up talking to someone who happens to have a lot of money or a good context, and then when you tell them about your idea, it is pitching. It's what you do. So you have to sell your idea, but maybe not in the way you think. It can be, you don't have to be a salesperson or an extrovert person. There's no need to be that, to be able to get your stuff out. You can do it your way, the way you are. It can be just about having conversations, regular conversations with people, but you still need to formulate what the value is and practice that. So clarify the value for people. It has to be easy to understand. And why you? Why should you be the one that I trust will bring this value to me, or why your team? And remember to think, if you ever get in the situation of a pitch, remember to think that, what do I really want here? What do I really want? Do I want to just stand up here, talk, and then get out, just survive those 2 minutes? Or do you actually want something? Do you want to accomplish something? And if so, be specific. Be very specific. Tell people what you need, what you want. Do you want help? Do you want money? Do you want recommendations? What do you need? And yeah, make sure to be specific about that, because you know, at some pitch competitions, there are people who stand there and they say their beautiful thing, and then they say bye, thank you, but they never ask for anything. Some of these people, and how can they get something if they don't ask for it? And about the marketing, so you have to find your users, as we said, and you have to be there, offline, online, you know, physically and in the digital world. Right now in these times, it's mostly in the digital world. Don't go physically around in too many places right now, but in the future, you know, when it's okay, find them, be there. You cannot understand the people who will benefit from your idea without being there. You know, if they are in Belgium, you go to Belgium. If they are in North Africa, you go to North Africa. You know, you have to get to know the people who will get the value. And research the market. There's always competitors. You know, if you haven't found any competitors to your idea, then you haven't really looked well enough, probably, because many different, as I said, with the chocolate cream cake and the carrot cake and so on, there are many different things that can fulfill the same need. So remember that that's also competition for you, and it's good. It's important to know about that. Practice your pitch, as I said, and then use early references. If you talk about your idea, or if you create a small product and try it out, and someone says, "Wow, this is amazing. This is bringing so much value to my life," then make sure to grab that, because that is gold. Ask them, could you write this on my Facebook page? Could you write it on my Google review? Could I use that quote on my webpage? Is that okay? Grab all those early references that you can, because, you know, just like, I don't know how you do it, but when I'm going to buy something or go to a place, or maybe a hut or a new city or whatever, I look at the reviews. I look at the stars, I look at the reviews to see if it's any good, if other people thought it was good. And that's probably how other people will look also at you and what you're offering. So make sure to get as early references as you can. And then sell, but in your own way, okay? Because you have to get your thing out there, you have to communicate it, you have to meet people and be able to spread the world and bring the value to them. But it doesn't have to be that you're, you know, knocking down doors and saying, I'm going to sell you this thing and now you're going to buy it. No, maybe that's not you. Maybe that's you, and that's great. But maybe that's not you, and that's great as well. Having a coffee with someone, or, you know, having a chat, or having a walk or a stroll with someone, that's also getting your thing out there. You have to tell people in your way, okay? And so we're coming to the end. This is a recap of what I just said. We talked about the idea and the problem. We talked about who is the user or the benefiter of you and your idea. What's the value we're creating? Remember, it's the awesome person they become when they get your help. not the product or service in itself. We talked about the lean canvas, and there's also, for example, the business model canvas that's a little bit more advanced as a tool to get your idea down on one paper, your model. Competitors, there always are competitors. Team help, do you need that? What do you need? What don't you need? Branded design, the value created from that. Minimum viable product, MVP, that's just a word for, a prototype that you create with little resources in the start to try it out. Pitch, marketing, sales, and then verksam.se and Bolagsverket. So, try to not, unless you have done that already, don't start everything, from the beginning. You don't have to have a limited company or aktiebolag to start this journey. You can really start from here. And even if you already have your limited company or enskild firma, that's fine as well. But make sure to go through this process again, because you have to loop that and make sure that you really create a value for people. And now in the end, Joachim has been looking at your questions and talking to you, but we will answer more questions now if you have them. And if you don't, make sure to reach out to us whenever you need. Whether you are just in the curious phase, you're just curious about things, you don't know at all what to do or why, you're just curious, then you can come meet us. Or if you're in the idea phase, you have an idea and you want to talk about that. Or if you're in the starting phase, you want to actually start your business. Or if you have a business and want to develop, we are here for you. Let's grab a coffee and see where you're at. And if it's soon, we will meet like this or with one of my colleagues that I showed you. And hopefully a bit in the future, we can meet physically as well. But thank you so much for spending your morning with me, with us. I'm really glad you did. And Joachim, he looked very happy here all the time as well, looking at your comments and everything. So thank you all, and hope we see you soon. And now
Don't finish it off.
Now we're ready for questions for the ones who are left.
It's been great with all the commentaries. People are so active and have so great questions. I try to answer it a little bit in the commentaries, but some we might take again. One was, do you actually have events where people with different ideas can meet and connect? Not right now,
but we're
because that'd be hard to do over video link. But we will this fall, and also pitch base 10 again.
So base 10, the building where me and Joachim are right now. This little community space here, it's a perfect place to meet. It's a perfect place to meet other people with the ideas and who are doing the same journey. Some of the people here don't even know what they're going to do, but they're working on something. They're trying. And some of the people here, they are startups and have been for years, So this is a great place to meet people. So go up to base and then the number 10, base10.com, and you can become a free member and you get card and access to this area. And you get to be around us, which is awesome as well. But then the event, we will have hangouts and events where you can meet up.
Follow us on Facebook to stay updated. How much money should I initially have to start a company, and how long does the process take to register a company?
Well, this will all depend on what you want to do, because of course how much money you need to get something going, it depends completely on what you want to get going. But to actually, for example, a sole trader, you don't need any. When you register that, it's for free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to put in any start capital there. For example, when you start a limited company, then you have to put these 25,000 into the business, which is money you can use. You don't lose that. And then you also pay, if you use their electronical service on verksam.se, you pay 1,900 krona, which is for them putting everything up for you and making it all work. So that's what you pay. That 1,900, that's the cost that you have. 25,000 is what you put in. So you will basically, need 26,900 krona to really get a limited company.
You also need a bank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you probably have to pay them a yearly fee, but I mean it all depends on the company. You talked a little bit about the MVP, minimal value proposition, which is great for a startup to think about. That what's the easiest, fastest way that costs the least to actually try your company to real clients before you risk the money.
Exactly.
So think about that.
Exactly. And that's also a very good thing to take help from Drivhuset and other supporters like us, because, for example, we have a partnership with Handelsbanken where you can get the first year a bank account at them for free. Or that you, for example, you can get, we have a partnership with Visma, which is a bookkeeping program. And, you will either need to do your own bookkeeping or lease that out. But if you do your own, then we have a partnership with them so that you get the first year for free, and then it's 99 krona per month. Book a session with us, one of us, and we can talk about exactly what we think you will need.
Good question with probably a quick answer. Can I change from form of organizations to another during my company journey?
Yes, you can do that. It's and all of this you do through Verksamt and with Bolagsverket. So if you have any very specific question about how it happens exactly, it's very good to call Bolagsverket, or they have their number on verksam.se as well, and ask for that specifically. But for example, you can start a sole trader, enskild firma, and then later when you get the money to start a limited company, you can change that into a limited company. Yeah.
Cool. Could you start it yourself, or should you pay a company to do it for you?
No, I mean this depends. Of course, this is a decision you will have to take yourself. But the process in itself, it's not that difficult, because the registration on verksam.se is really clear. And if you have any questions along the way, they are really helpful. You just call them and say, hey, I'm a bit uncertain about this thing, and they help you out. So to actually register and get that going, you can get support from us too. So I don't think that you need to pay someone for this, but this depends on you as well, and what you want to get going. If there's lots of different aspects considering law, or that you're going to import food and sell food, there might be aspects that are very good to pay to get help with. So yeah. Also, as you said, our coaching sessions is also based on where the entrepreneur is at. So a coaching session could be 1 hour of us helping you set this up. Exactly. But Verksamt has great tools as well. Yeah. How do we pick a name for our company? We want unique, but not unprofessional, I guess. Yeah. Well, this is about the branding thing. And a very good way to go about finding a name, it's of course using a few different techniques and brainstorming, and to do it the right way, not the wrong way, is usually useful. When you sit down, you or with others, or maybe you can even do it with us, have a brainstorming session and really get that out there. What's the value you're creating? Is it easy to understand? Do people understand what you do? Should they? Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe it should just be a name that sounds exclusive, like Norrgavel. that doesn't say anything to many people. Or IKEA, that doesn't say anything at all. It's just an acronym. So the process can look a bit different. And
we had a lot of comments that people never heard of Norgave. but we don't know the answer for that either. But try it with your potential clients. Do they seem to want your service or product more if I use this name or this name?
Yeah.
So the market always has the answer for that as well.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
And exactly. And if you take a little session with us, we can give you more recommendations as well. For example, just a funny example. There's a Brazilian family here in Sweden who wanted to import this berry called acai, and they wanted to sell it. And then they also were thinking about the name. And they did a brainstorm, and they came up with 100 names and put it out on Facebook and just asked people, what do you think? And made people vote. And it didn't. The name people chose wasn't at all what any of them initially liked. It was the name macaco, which actually means monkey in Portuguese. But that's the one that got the most popular, and that's the one they use, and they are really successful.
I answered this briefly in the commentaries, but about taxes on profits I get, for a simple example, I sell a product for 100 Swedish kronor and I gain 10 kronor profit. So should I have to pay tax for that 10 kronor profit or whole 100 kronor?
No, the tax is based on is the profit that you make. If you but the thing is that in Sweden we pay tax in advance, preliminärskatt. So we estimate how much profit we're going to make during the year to come, and then the tax office gives us a tax based on that. And then if we have gained much more profit than we initially thought, then we're going to have to pay more and more tax in arrears. Or if we underestimated and we made less than we thought, then we're going to get money back from the tax office. Skatteåterbäring.
But there's also a difference between taxes that we have to pay for selling a product or sales, or when we want it as salary.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So it depends.
It depends. Exactly.
It depends on what you want to do with your profit as well. If
exactly.
You want to keep it in the company or take it out.
Or take it out as salary. Yeah. Exactly.
This is, maybe you know this since you're younger than me. It might just be me being old, 30 plus. Also, will the VOD, I don't know what it stands for, VOD, will it be available after the stream is done?
Oh yeah.
What's VOD?
No, it's this lecture.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what VOD stands for.
No, but if this, what do you think, Joachim?
It will be available for over the weekend at least, but I don't think we'll have it. I think we'll take it down after that.
Exactly. Yeah. So for the weekend probably.
Okay, this is the last question. I'm a baker and I want to sell cakes for wedding anniversaries and also small celebrations. I can do this using my own kitchen. So I really need to open a enskild firma?
I mean, there's a certain amount of money that you can make during 1 year as a private person without having to have a business registered for that, and you can have a call to Skatteverket and ask them specifically, tell them about your thing and what that limit looks like for you. But if you want this to be something that you actually make money from, and that you're going to have this as something that you keep working with for the years to come, or for a good while, then we recommend that you start an enskild firma, because this way you also get all the benefits from having a business. Then you sell your cakes and the things, but then probably you will also have to buy things to your kitchen, maybe new cauldrons or whatever you need.
Ingredients.
Of course, you will be buying this. And all of this you are paying moms on when you are, as a regular person. And this can be, quitted out or balanced out to the moms that you put when you sell your cakes or whatever. So it could be quite economically effective as well to have a sole trader, to have F-skatt, or if you're also employed, it might be an FA-skatt, so anställningsskatt when you're working for someone, and F-skatt is företagsskatt when you have a company, but you can have also the combination of that. So I recommend, of course, except for having a coaching session with us at Drivhuset, also to have a call to Skatteverket to see what they have to say about your situation.
This might sound complicated, but basically, if you're doing it, selling cakes, take salary, and then have to buy the things you need to make it and ingredients with your own money, then you're basically paying double taxes, which you wouldn't need if you have a company. Even doesn't matter if it's a sole trader or a limited company.
Exactly.
But skip the moms.
Skip the moms, exactly.
Not skip the moms, but yeah.
But quit it out to the services you're selling or the products you're selling.
Great.
All right. So let's have.
It was so great with all the activity in the commentaries. We're so happy about that. Hope you take the opportunity to actually meet us one-on-one as well, or via video or a phone call, whatever suits you best, because then we can discuss your specific idea or company, and we can help you from there. We have the questions. It's always free and confidential, and we help to the best of our ability. And if you need more advanced help within a specific topic or theme, we always have our partners that also have some good offers for startups. But we help you to connect to someone who can help you if we can't. But start with a meeting with us. And do it at home. But a big round of applause for Eric for doing a great job.
And to Joachim for having your back. And
at last for you for following us and doing a great job in the commentaries.
Exactly. Hey.
Okay.
All right. Good job.
Good job. Oh no, we shouldn't. We have Hans Prit.
Oh shit. No, get it. Let's get it right.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.